Hey, welcome to World Code Updates. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Breaking news shakes the world tonight. An American military helicopter has come dangerously close to disaster after a near miss with Chinese fighter jets in the volatile South China Sea. The incident, captured by military surveillance and confirmed by multiple sources, has sent shockwaves through defense circles and raised urgent questions about the future of US-China relations. The Pentagon wasted no time, publicly accusing Beijing of reckless maneuvers over international waters. Officials described the encounter as not just a breach of protocol, but a direct threat to regional stability and international law. In the South China Sea, a region already simmering with tension, a routine US reconnaissance mission nearly spiraled into an international catastrophe. The area, known for its disputed islands and heavy military presence, has become a flashpoint for global powers. During the mission, a US Navy MH-60R Seahawk helicopter was suddenly boxed in by two Chinese J-16 fighter jets. The American crew, trained for high-pressure situations, found themselves in a life-or-death standoff. The Chinese jets closed in, flying at an alarmingly close distance. Their powerful engines created intense jet wash, buffeting the Seahawk and making control difficult, a clear intimidation tactic and a stark reminder of the risks these crews face. Inside the cockpit, the American crew was on high alert. What began as a standard reconnaissance flight had instantly turned into a struggle for control, as turbulence and proximity alarms blared. Every second counted as the pilots worked together to stabilize the aircraft and avoid disaster. This was more than just a close call. It was a flashpoint in the ongoing rivalry between the United States and China. Each side is determined to assert its presence, and every encounter carries the risk of escalation. The South China Sea is a strategic chessboard where freedom of navigation, territorial claims, and military might collide. Control over these waters means influence over vital shipping lanes and access to rich natural resources, making every incident a potential trigger for broader conflict. For the United States, maintaining a strong presence here is about upholding global trade, ensuring the security of allies, and defending the principle of free navigation in international waters. For China, these waters represent national pride and sovereignty. Asserting dominance in the South China Sea is central to Beijing's vision of regional leadership and global influence. The professionalism and quick thinking of the US pilots in those critical moments prevented a disaster that could have had far-reaching consequences. Their training and composure under pressure made all the difference. In the aftermath, the Pentagon condemned the Chinese actions as unsafe and irresponsible, while Beijing fired back, accusing the US of provocation and interference. The war of words only adds fuel to an already volatile situation. The truth of what happened lies in the split-second decisions and extraordinary skill of the pilots involved. Their actions, unseen by most, averted a tragedy and kept the world from the brink. What really happened in those tense moments above contested waters? How close did we come to a global crisis, and what does this mean for the future of US-China relations? This is the story of a near miss that could have changed the world, a stark reminder of the dangers lurking in the South China Sea. Let's dive in and uncover the full story behind this dramatic showdown. The South China Sea, beautiful, vital, and fiercely contested. China claims almost the entire sea, overlapping with Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei. Over the past decade, China has built military bases on artificial islands, projecting power far from its shores. This sea is a superhighway for global trade. Over a third of the world's shipping passes through each year. It's also rich in oil, gas, and fish. For the US and its allies, China's actions threaten the international order and freedom of navigation. The US Navy regularly conducts freedom of navigation operations to assert these are international waters. American and Chinese forces operate in close proximity daily. One mistake could spark a crisis. Rising nationalism and advanced weaponry make the risk of miscalculation ever present. The Seahawk J-16 encounter was a stark reminder. The South China Sea is a powder keg. Tensions are always just below the surface. The MH-60R Seahawk, call sign Guardian 25, launched from the USS John S. McCain. Its mission surface reconnaissance, identifying and monitoring vessels in the area. The crew seasoned pilot Lieutenant CMDR Eva Rostova, co-pilot Lieutenant Jake Mitchell, and sensor operator Petty Officer Ben Carter. Their job, Observe, document, and report, not provoke. The Seahawk's advanced sensors scanned for ships and listened for radio chatter. Everything seemed routine as they built a surface picture for the destroyer. They flew in international airspace well outside any territorial limit, but in the South China Sea, normal can change in a heartbeat. Chinese radar detected their flight. 2 J-16 fighters scrambled to intercept. The Seahawk's routine mission was about to become a test of survival. The eyes in the sky were now the target. The stakes had just been raised. The encounter was about to begin. The first sign of trouble came suddenly. A piercing warning tone echoed through the Seahawk's cockpit. The crew instantly recognized the sound. Their helicopter was being targeted by hostile fighter radar, a situation that could escalate in seconds. "Valkyrie, we're being painted," Slider announced, his voice tense but steady as he relayed the urgent message to the rest of the crew. Carter, scanning the radar, confirmed their fears. "J-16s, closing fast from the east," he reported, watching as the blips on the screen grew closer with alarming speed. Moments later, the Chinese jets burst into view, executing aggressive maneuvers. They swept around the Seahawk, boxing it in with precision, leaving little room for escape. One jet screamed past the Seahawk's nose, so close the crew could see the pilot's helmet. The other fighter hovered menacingly above, restricting the helicopter's movement and options. Realizing the danger, Rostova grabbed the radio. "USS McCain, this is Valkyrie. We are being intercepted by 2 PLA Navy J-16s. They're performing unsafe maneuvers, requesting immediate guidance," she reported, her voice calm but urgent. Suddenly, the lead jet deployed its speed brakes right in front of the Seahawk, forcing the helicopter into turbulent air. It was a reckless move, one that could easily cause a mid-air collision. The Seahawk shuddered violently in the jet wash, warning lights flickering across the cockpit as the crew struggled to maintain control. The Chinese pilots were pushing the limits, their aggressive tactics creating a situation where a single mistake could lead to disaster for everyone in the sky. In that moment, Rostova's years of training and experience kicked in. She knew she had only seconds to react, and the lives of her crew depended on her next move. Inside the Seahawk, tension was palpable. Every crew member's eyes were fixed on Rostova, trusting her to guide them through the crisis. Far beyond the cockpit, the world watched the unfolding drama. News outlets flashed urgent updates, and millions held their breath, aware that a single misstep could spark an international incident. Rostova's eyes narrowed in concentration. The critical moment had arrived, and every decision now carried enormous weight. It was a contest of nerves and skill. Would the calm professionalism of the Navy crew prevail? Or would the aggressive tactics of the Chinese pilots force a dangerous outcome? The answer would come in mere seconds, as the cockpit instruments ticked down the tense moments. The dangerous dance in the clouds was reaching its climax, with the fate of the crew, and perhaps much more, hanging in the balance. Faced with a deadly box, Rostova chose a bold move, using helicopter physics to her advantage. She initiated a rapid, controlled descent, something a jet couldn't match. The Seahawk dropped suddenly, vanishing from the jet's sights. The J-16 overshot, losing its target. Entering a vortex ring state is risky, but Rostova executed the recovery flawlessly. The Seahawk stabilized just above the waves, out of the danger zone. The Chinese jets were forced to regroup, caught off guard by the maneuver. In less than 10 seconds, the crew had turned the tables. Training and quick thinking had saved the day. The priority now: get home safely. The crew had survived the unthinkable. The rules of the game had changed. The US pilots had proven their mettle. The incident was far from over. Flying low over the sea, the Seahawk was vulnerable, but free. The Chinese jets circled above, unable to pursue at low altitude. Rostova pushed the Seahawk to maximum speed, hugging the waves to avoid radar. On the USS John S. McCain, the crew watched anxiously, tracking every move. The destroyer turned to provide cover, racing to meet the helicopter. The flight back was tense, every sensor on alert, the Chinese jets still shadowing from above. Finally, the silhouette of the McCain appeared on the horizon. Rostova guided the Seahawk in for a safe landing. The crew was home, but the incident was just beginning. The evidence they gathered would shape the US response. The mission was over, but the fallout had just begun. The world would soon see what happened in the skies. The stakes were higher than ever. Hours after the Seahawk's return, the US responded on two fronts, military and diplomatic. The USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group was rerouted to the South China Sea, a clear show of strength. The the State Department issued a formal protest, condemning China's actions. The Pentagon released video footage of the incident, exposing the J-16's dangerous maneuvers. Allies worldwide voiced support for the U.S. and called for de-escalation. The incident underscored the power of alliances and collective response. Military hotlines between the U.S. and China were activated to prevent escalation. Both sides reiterated their positions, but dialogue kept the crisis from spiraling. The U.S. led a coalition committed to a free and open Indo-Pacific. The Eagle had answered, not with anger, but with strength and unity. The world was watching. The message was clear. Aggression would not go unanswered. The balance of power was being tested. The Seahawk incident showed how close the world is to crisis in the South China Sea. A single mistake could have triggered a deadly clash between nuclear powers. The loss of a U.S. crew would demand a forceful response, risking escalation. Any military action could spiral into a wider conflict, devastating the global economy. China's aggressive gray zone tactics increase the risk of fatal miscalculation. The professionalism of crews like Guardian 2-5 is a crucial line of defense. Their skill prevents accidents from becoming catastrophes. The stakes, global stability and economic security. In these waters, every decision matters. The world cannot afford a mistake. The Seahawk incident marked a turning point, accelerating a major shift in U.S. strategy in the region. What was once a contest of ships and aircraft is now evolving into a high-tech chess match where information and innovation are just as important as firepower. In response, the Pentagon is rapidly deploying more unmanned systems, drones in the sky and robot ships on the water, to patrol the vast expanse of the South China Sea. These advanced platforms can cover more territory, stay on station longer, and react faster than traditional manned vessels. These technologies provide persistent, real-time surveillance, allowing the U.S. and its allies to monitor activity around the clock without risking pilots' lives. Operators on the ground can track every movement, gathering intelligence and responding to threats in seconds. Unmanned vessels now map the seabed in detail, track submarines lurking below, and create a resilient sensor network that is difficult to disrupt. This web of sensors and drones forms a digital shield, making it harder for adversaries to operate undetected. But technology is only part of the story. The U.S. is also strengthening its alliances. Joint patrols with Australia, Japan, the UK, and other partners are now routine, demonstrating unity and shared resolve. When China attempts to shadow a U.S. ship, it increasingly finds itself watched not just by Americans, but by a coalition of navies working together, each ready to support the other. This teamwork sends a powerful message to the world. Freedom of navigation is not just an American interest, but a shared global priority. The presence of so many nations signals that the international community is invested in keeping these waters open and secure. Ironically, China's attempt to intimidate a single helicopter backfired, uniting its rivals and strengthening their resolve to stand together. The future of the South China Sea will be shaped not just by ships and sailors, but by professionalism, partnership, and cutting-edge technology. The balance of power is shifting toward those who can innovate and cooperate most effectively. The Guardian 2-5 crew's calm skill under pressure highlighted the value of rigorous training and discipline over aggression, or bravado. In this new era, expertise and preparation are more important than ever. The world responded with unity, as leaders and navies from around the globe reaffirmed their commitment to peace and stability in these contested waters. The chessboard is bigger, the players more numerous, and the stakes higher than ever before. Every move is watched, every action has consequences. The game continues, but the rules are changing, and the outcome will shape the future of the world's most important sea.